So Bruno Fernandes is effectively saying that Manchester United not only need to qualify for the Champions League, they also have to present a very interesting and ambitious project for him to stay at the club. And I think this second part is why I wanted to bring this in, because technically it's a snub if United don't do that. Champions League qualification, I know how some of you work. You're quite nervy. And you don't like these sort of comments. I said we'd get Champions League football on New Year's Eve. Amrin was still here then. I didn't know who was going to be the interim. So I think we'll get Champions League football. I think it's by no means guaranteed, but when you look at the fixtures, you look at who we're competing with, you look at they've all got to play in Europe, and also you look at Aston Villa. I just can't see Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa could go as low as 8th, and they were 3rd a couple of weeks ago. I think Villa are just going to drop like a stone. And obviously, I'm very confident we'll beat them on Sunday because they're playing on Thursday. So I think that it's Villa who are going to drop out. So we will get Champions League football, in my opinion. The next bit, and I actually appreciate this, the next bit is, for Bruno to stay, we need Champions League football and we need an interesting and ambitious project. I would say to Bruno Fernandes that, and I'm happy to say this, leave Manchester United, even if they've got Champions League football, if they give the job to someone like Carrick or Zerbi or Glasner and they only buy them 4 players. I'd leave. That's not ambitious. And that's nothing against Zerbi, Carrick or Glasner. That's just not ambitious and it's not interesting. If they give that job to Carrick, Glasner or Zerbi and they only give them 4 or 5 players, Bruno's wasted his career, because in 18 months we'll be back where we are now. If they give the job to an exciting manager and they buy 7 or 8 players, that becomes an interesting and ambitious project. And I think it's the definition of what's interesting and ambitious to you. Remember, this is Bruno Fernandes' last contract. And for him, he can't have another year like the last 5. He can't have a year like Newcastle. He can't be in the Champions League. It's great to be here, but I'm only here for 1 year, because next summer he's gone anyway. There is a very big chance that this time next year, we will be outside of the top 5 doing a Newcastle. Maybe in a knockout game in the Champions League, knowing we're not going to win it, miles off the top 5. So for Bruno, he's got to think ambitious and interesting has to be Champions League for the next 3 years. He needs to play in the Champions League for the final 3 years of his career. And United need to put that on a plate. And if Bruno Fernandes is intelligent, which I think he is, I would be saying, look at Newcastle, qualified for the Champions League comfortably, done well in the Champions League, but not been able to get into the top 5 comfortably not in the top 5. Look at their squad, look at our squad. Theirs is actually better, and they've got a better manager, and they've got more stability. Sell me your project this summer that defeats Newcastle with a good manager and a better squad so that we can be in the Champions League for the next 3 years, and I'll sign that paper.